Welcome back to Deep Dive Library, the only library that does a deep dive on your favorite books. And man, we got a great one for you this week. We're finally into the arena. But before we get to that, I would like to introduce a good friend of mine. Um, Somebody I met through Twitch, has been very supportive of this podcast since the very beginning. The
We've been
only place
teasing
to
them coming on for
for
weeks.
weeks, yeah. It's the only place to go to get your sim builders, and the only place you can go to get called a lot lizard and it not being an insult. Welcome to the show, JuniaaaGaming.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks a bunch. Love the lot lizard call out.
Yeah, I had to. I was sitting there thinking about it last night, and I'm like, I have to make a reference to the lot lizards because it's just too good not to. So yeah, we've been teasing, you coming on the show for a minute, and then it's just we've been
We
talking
name
back and
dropped you last, episode.
yeah, which at the time of recording this went up yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like from the inception of this show, you have been such a big supporter of it. You're like, I was like, I'm starting a podcast, and you're like, hell yeah, dude, go for it. Let's see what happens. Just from the get go, you were super super supportive, super like in love with this idea. So when we started, a couple episodes in, when we started really talking like guest stars, I think we were what episode four, five, getting ready to record.
I think, yeah, because I think it was in between episode 3 and 4 that we were like, yeah, we gotta
And
have
then
somebody.
we were gonna have you on for last episode because I'm like, that's a nice round number. And then Riker was like, nah,
Nah.
let's do it when we go into the arena. So that's exactly what we got set up, guys. If you don't know Junia, again, like I said, he's a Twitch streamer, a good friend of mine. But he does not only do city builders. We do some American Truck Simulator every once in a while, which I know we're looking to get back into. He's
been a
been
while.
playing a ton of some Power Wash Simulator for chill nights. What's the
Helldivers.
Helldivers? I was like, what's the third person shooter you've been playing? I've been playing a ton of Helldivers and got some other games kind of lurking in the ideas that we've been talking about in Discord. So it's a good time if you want to just chill out, hang out, and relax. A link to his Twitch will be in the ledger below. Um, as well to his Twitch and everything like that, or his Twitch and his Twitter and everything like that will be there, so you guys can go and follow him and show this man some great love and support. The amount of love and support that he has sent our way since we dropped episode 0,
Ew.
which by the way was like 2 months ago now. By the
Oh,
way,
Lord, really?
yeah, it's been like 2 months already. Um, but with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the book really gets exciting.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
it really is.
It's just one thing after another from here on out.
Yeah, and I actually have my book here ready,
Nice.
and I have things marked. But the first thing that really stuck out to me is how how Suzanne Collins really built up that tension with that 60 seconds.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love it when they like put something into perspective like that. I've read a few books where they like talk about heartbeats and things like that, and everything just kind of builds on it. And I think that very beginning of this chapter of 60 seconds and
Yeah.
it builds up the anticipation. I was actually thinking about stuff last night before bed, and it popped into my head how much I would have loved if like they did a launch kind of like forgot his name, the guy who sings Gangnam Style.
Sigh.
Sigh.
There's videos, yeah, there's videos where he's like gets launched onto stage, and like that's what I was envisioning. I was like, why do they have to wait? It would be so cool to just launch them up and they run.
That
That
would
would be cool.
actually be pretty damn cool.
But I mean, she does say that like the 60 seconds is, to take in the ring of tributes and the cornucopia and see like what the arena looks like from, what they can see from their metal plates.
Yeah. And she's like, that's how long we're required to stand on our metal circles before the sound of the gong releases us. Step off before that minute is up, the landmines blow your legs off. It's like there's just no in between. It's either you stand there and wait the 60 seconds before you die, or you just go ahead and step off and die now.
Yeah.
Like either way, you're gonna die, and the Capitol's gonna make sure of it.
It makes me wonder, like, in past Hunger Games, how many times have people been like, "There's no chance," and they just step off to
Just to
just
get
end it
blown
right
up.
then and there, or
Right?
try and jump close enough to somebody else's platform to maybe hit them with shrapnel.
Mm.
That is not something we've ever thought about. And we've read these books several times. That is not a thought process that's ever crossed my mind, at least.
No.
That's a really
I'm
good
full of
question.
terrible ideas.
Nah, man. No, you're not. That's actually a really good thought process, though. I wonder if it's ever happened.
This doesn't fit very well in my ear.
I have some larger bits
No,
somewhere.
it's okay.
I have the same problem with earbuds.
So do I. But yeah, Katniss is just like, all right, so if I move, I die. If I go into this, I die. But maybe I can make it to the cornucopia. Just maybe.
Honestly, I can see how, from some tributes' point of view, it's like, they're like, I have no chance of winning this, and I know it, so just be like, wee. I mean, because it is, at least that way, it's guaranteed to be, like, a quick and, like, painless death, whereas at the hand of any other tribute, there is no guarantee for that.
Like, take Kato, for example, right? Somebody who doesn't get name-dropped for a little bit, but is one of the career tributes. He's a brutal son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And he likes to toy with his victims.
Oh, yeah.
He's a masochist.
Oh, yeah.
100% a masochist.
Dude,
so it's like if you got stuck at the hands of him, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So, there probably have been tributes to think, well, this might just be better if I just eat the explosion, like, it's a very good possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What is Katniss taking in here? All the tributes, the cornucopia, a giant golden horn shaped like a cone with a curved tail, the mouth of which is at least 20 feet high, spilling over with things that will give us life here in the arena. Food, containers of water, weapons, medicine, garments, fire starters. Strewn around the cornucopia are other supplies, their value decreasing the farther from the horn they get.
So, I honestly didn't know that, the name for a cornucopia until this. Like, I knew what they were, because we've all seen them, especially for, Thanksgiving pictures. They're, everywhere.
And no matter what anybody says, there was a cornucopia
On the Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom. Yes, there was. I don't care what anyone says or tries to gaslight you into it. You do remember that correctly.
I will die on this hill.
Oh, us too. But I didn't know that it was called the cornucopia.
My left hand just goes off camera. We need a wider table.
Eventually. But yeah, no, I didn't know for the longest time that it was called the cornucopia until I read this, and then I was like, the thing at Harvest, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's what that's called? Okay.
Yeah, this is just a giant golden one. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's not actually gold.
It is.
It's like solid gold.
Have you met the Capitol? It could be.
Right.
Very good point there, actually.
They don't do things halfway.
No. That's a good point. So it probably is. Well, isn't there a reference to the claws cutting through the cornucopia later?
Yeah, there is, I don't know if it's 100% gold. I feel like that is something that the Capitol would do, but it's also
just struggling to open my drink.
Plated around cardboard.
Yeah, something
Could
like
you
that.
imagine?
Yeah. President Snow was like, "Hey, we can't afford that much gold, so we're gonna plate the cardboard and we're gonna be fine.
We'll just come back to it at another day. You know, we'll make it shiny and make it look good.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's gold leaf on cardboard.
I want to go back a chapter for a second.
Okay.
And Junior, I want to know your thoughts on this guy.
Mhm.
In the end of the in the last chapter, they're talking about. Let's see. Let me find it here. Here it is. So, Katniss is talking about how everything is brand new in the launch room, you know, in the catacombs under the arena. It says, I will be the first and only tribute to use this launch room. The arenas are historic sites preserved after the game's popular destinations for capital residents to visit to go on vacation. Go for a month, rewatch the games, tour the catacombs, visit the sites where deaths took place. You can even take part in reenactment. They say the food is excellent. What are your thoughts on that? Because if I don't know if you've watched last week's episode yet, but we spent a little bit of time talking about this, and we were just both thought it was completely abhorrent.
Well, I mean, everything about the games is completely abhorrent.
I
But
mean, but you also think how many people go and visit the Colosseum in Rome? How many people do Civil War reenactments or French versus English war reenactments? I think like Napoleonic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically everything is on the table for reenactments except for World War II. Like that's the only thing you don't see people doing reenactments of.
You know,
true.
he makes a very good point. Makes a very good point.
Like, I even see people do. One of my buddies is a jump master, and they do World War One reenactments.
That's the first I've ever heard of a World War One reenactment.
I think the difference between all of those reenactments and these is those weren't comprised completely and only of children.
Yeah, the whole children aspect, that is true.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember that fact because I've rewatched the scene in the movie as well to prep for this, and like you can tell that they're not kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't know. There's a normalcy that society can create on things, though.
That's a fair point. Yeah, and going back to the they're not kids. Although Josh Hutcherson looks exactly the same when he did when he did the Hunger Games as he did when he did like Zathora. Like there's almost no change in that guy's face. Like
He just
He
looks
looks
older.
the same now too. He's like our generation's what's his
Rudd.
name? Paul Rudd, but also he was Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Matthew Broderick,
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I knew it was
Yeah.
Matthew something, but I couldn't.
because he never ages either. Like
No.
looks the exact same as he did as Ferris.
Shoot. John Wick. Keanu Reeves even looks basically unchanged. You know, I mean, he's let the gray grow in his beard, but like, if you were to shave that, he'd look almost no different.
Yeah.
He can still do Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I loved that fourth movie. I loved that, or the third one so much, where they're adults. It
Face
was
the music.
so good.
It was so wonderful,
so good.
and the girls did a great job.
That's
Like
just,
as their daughters, it was like perfect.
yeah. If you haven't seen it,
I haven't.
we'll have to watch it because it's so good.
I've only actually seen the first Bill and Ted movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it like many years ago with Mom, and I was like, this is amazing. And then
You have to watch Bogus Journey. There's something magical about watching Primus play in hell.
oh Lord.
Yeah, no, it's such a funny. It's a stupid series when you think about it, but it's so good.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things that it's so stupid it's funny. Like a lot of the Ace Ventura movies. I feel the same way about.
I
Personally,
mean, honestly, you could probably go with just most Jim Carrey movies. You know, stupid but funny.
Yeah, because Jim Carrey is just a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the task at hand here, because we will continue to rabbit hole. Katniss is taking in the sight of everything around her, right? She's noticing that they're on flat ground, a flat open stretch of ground, as it were, a plain of hard-packed dirt behind the tributes across from her. She can see nothing, indicating either a steep downward slope or even a cliff. To her right lies a lake. To the left, a sparse, piney woods, which you know she was hoping for was some sort of forestry.
Yeah.
My brain was trying to say that as some fort of sorestry, and I don't know why.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Right? And then, she's like,
this is where Hamish would want me to go immediately.
yeah, it's just dip.
I can't blame her for being like, but what does he know? Like, like every time she sees him, he's falling over drunk. And he's like, oh, you're pretty much screwed now. And all of that. Like he never really showed himself to be on their side heavily.
No.
Yeah.
He
and
really
to
didn't.
and didn't really take it serious at all either. So like I can't blame her. Part of me, like, because I love the character Hamish, I'm like, how dare you not listen to him? But then I really think about it and I'm like, he's a drunk idiot.
Yeah.
Like the entire time she's known him.
Yep.
But like also in Hamish's defense, you have to think he's been doing this for 23 years, before this game. I guess 22 because this would be his 23rd year doing it.
Yeah.
Because he won the 50th games. So, it's just year after year after year after year of watching these children die and, doing his best, possibly, and, like, just nothing working.
Yeah. And you have to remember, he's never had really good tributes to work with.
Yeah.
He made that pretty apparent.
Yeah.
Like, when, like, he saw their scores, he's like, oh, you might actually have a chance. Here's our game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
it's really where Hamish did start to kind of like pick up. Too bad it was like basically too late, right?
Yeah.
Because after they got their training scores, next day was getting ready for
Interviews.
The next day after that was the interviews, and then the arena.
Yeah.
Where we are now. So like he realized they had a chance 3 days before they went in.
Well, I mean, he kind of got a glimpse of that a little earlier when they were on the train, because remember, PETA is like, when they're asking him for advice and he's like, stay alive, and PETA's like, yeah, that's hilarious, except not to us, and like takes his, knocks his glass out of his hand.
Right.
And then Hamish punches PETA and Katniss stabs the table. He's like, oh, do I actually have a pair of fighters this year? Like, okay, and then that's when he promises that as long as they don't interfere with his drinking, he'll stay sober enough to help them. Which,
like, let's be honest, alcoholics make that promise all the time and almost never keep up with it. And it's
that
not
is very
Hamish's
true.
fault he's an alcoholic. Well, it is and it isn't. That's a very complicated topic there that we will get to when we get to his book.
Yeah.
I mean, really, just think about the PTSD he had to have.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have if you've read Sunrise on the Reaping yet.
I have not.
But it's rough
so good.
book. It's really, really good. It ties. Suzanne Collins is absolutely brilliant in how she ties the later two books back into the earlier three books, like, just so effortlessly.
Yeah. It's so good.
You gotta read them. They're incredible. So Katniss is thinking to herself that she needs to find a source of water.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what's so funny?
You're like, Katniss is thinking to herself, and my brain goes, "What a wonderful world." And it's like, not really.
Yeah, not at this point.
I mean, they could have played like a Fallout version of that song, just in the background during the initial cornucopia.
That would have been crazy, actually, because the Fallout What a Wonderful World goes harder than people expect it to.
Yeah.
That I'm picturing that in my head now. I might have to just get that scene and just overlay the music.
You'll have to slow down the fighting a little bit. It's all got to be slow motion for that song.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to mess with. Too bad I'm not that great at editing, so it might take me a while.
It's okay.
There's a reason these episodes go up uncut. But that way you also get the raw experience of the mistakes and the jokes and the laughter that that will inevitably ensue. We want you guys to have like all of that.
And you're not
that raw enjoyment.
You're not great at editing, and I know nothing about editing at all.
Which is fair. So Katniss is, still she's looking at all the tributes. She's figuring out how she's kind of surmising how the bloodbath will ensue. And then she realizes something catches her eye. Junior, what catches Katniss's eye up in the cornucopia?
Oh, in the cornucopia. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the 3 square feet of plastic. I know. I was pretty pumped about that. But it may have been a silver quiver with arrows and an already strung bow. What?
Woohoo!
And
she's just like,
we've talked about this. Is it because of her training score, or because of what Katniss did on her personal training day with the game makers, was shooting the arrow in their direction? Is it because of this that there's a bow and arrow at all in the arena, or is it because of this that there's only one? And we've kind of been back and forth on that.
I have a different thought.
Okay.
Please share.
Because notice the placement of this. It's at the top. You had to climb up the bags and the crates in order to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a trap. A little payback for freaking them out.
Ooh. I like that idea.
I like that thought. That's a good thought process.
Yeah, because when I read it, it specifically says, hold on, let me find this spot here. Resting on a mound of blanket rolls is a silver sheath of arrows and a bow. So it's on a mound, so everybody can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Not like she can be the only one to notice it, and it's not like it's on the ground ready for her to grab. It's not like it is in the movie for anybody watching. Like in the movie, it's just like sitting there leaned up against something on the ground. This is on a pile, and so she's gonna have to climb a pile while people are trying to kill her.
Yeah,
that's a really, really good thought. That's something I hadn't thought about.
And she
could have been a trap.
She does kind of like make reference to it, so I find that to be interesting that specific idea didn't pop into my brain.
Right.
Because where is it? But this 40-yard length is what I'm built for. I know I can get it. I know I can reach it first. But then the question is, how quickly can I get out of there? By the time I scramble up the packs and grab the weapon, others will have reached the horn. And 1 or 2 I might be able to pick off, but say there's a dozen. At that close range, they could take me down with the spears and clubs or their own powerful fists. So she does, she is worried about
the outcome of her going to get this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, and to be fair, I think she almost wants to do it to prove that she can.
Oh yeah, she's hard.
Yeah, she's the quintessential teen angst. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you say I can't do this? I'm gonna do it now,
Well,
Yeah.
right? Like,
she even goes on to think to herself, Haymitch has never seen me run. Maybe if he had, he'd tell me to go for it, get the weapon, since that's the very weapon that might be my salvation. And and I only see one bow in that whole pile. So she's like, well, maybe had I shown him that I can move, maybe he'd be like, go for it. But do I still do it? And she starts, kind of that back and forth in her head is like, do I do it? Do I not?
I think no matter what Katniss wants to think, Haymitch would have been like, yeah, go do it, or no. He still would have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah, he would have told her to get the hell out of there regardless.
Yeah.
I think he could have had like Xena Warrior Princess and still been like, hey, Xena, just run away.
I agree.
Like,
That's a reference some people won't get.
That is a
your
reference
trilly
people won't
voice
get.
is not going to save you here.
Her voice was shrilly, wasn't it? But it was
Well,
such a
only
good
when
show.
she was like fighting, it was like that.
Yeah.
Every darn time. I was like, oh god, this is what kills it for me.
That is a big
But
bear.
the action sequences in that show for the time were incredible.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Hercules, which is the reason Xeno was there, was also one of those shows where you look at it now, you're like, oh my god. But back then, it was like, man, this is the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
It really was.
I kind of
So,
miss that
time's
day and
almost
age
up.
in television.
Huh?
I said I kind of miss that day and age in television.
Oh yeah, back before you had all these reality shows, the Real Housewives of Hoboken County or whatever they are now, just I'm tired of it.
Not the Real Housewives of Hoboken.
I don't like reality TV. The last reality TV I enjoyed was The Osbournes.
I never got to watch that.
Oh,
I
it was
would've.
brilliant.
I would have, because I like Ozzy, so may he rest in peace. So Katniss is, what is she doing here? She's like 60 seconds are almost up.
Yeah.
And she'll have to decide what her strategy will be, and she finds herself positioning her feet to run, but not towards the woods like instructed, towards the cornucopia.
She's like, I got this. It's fine.
And then she notices a certain someone,
Pizza.
kind of giving her this, don't think about it, don't do it, don't. I know what you're
Even
thinking.
the head shake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, just don't do it.
No.
And then the gong sounds.
Yeah.
And it's too late for her to go full force into her plan. She's like, well, shit, I guess I'll just have to get what I can get at this point.
I love how she's like, the pickings are so small, and I'm so angry with PETA for distracting me that I sprint in 20 feet to retrieve a bright orange backpack that could hold anything because I can't stand leaving with virtually nothing.
Right.
And it's like,
So I'm gonna get a beacon.
right?
She even goes to say that later on too.
I don't want to leave empty-handed. I found a spotlight. This is gonna be great. And I like how everything is always PETA's fault. Like, she has so much hatred towards PETA.
That
Well,
part right there. Like
Sort of. Like we've said many, many times in the past episode, Katniss is her own worst enemy.
well, it's like if you go back to the train, she is like, I'm gonna have nothing more to do with the boy with the bread, and then throws the cookies his dad gave her out the window. And it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Those are cookies. Why would you do that?
Right, which
I'm like,
you
he's a
don't
good
get
baker.
often.
Yeah.
You're poor. You don't have access to these on a regular basis. That would have been a good little treat for the train ride.
Oh, yeah.
And you just huck him out a window.
So I think something gets a little lost because we're viewing everything as Katniss.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like the point of things like that is to show like how cutthroat it is and like how everybody thinks about it, and like, oh well, he's trying to do this to get me to lower my guard so he can kill me at the end and all of that, when really like he didn't know his dad gave cookies, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I didn't know that happened. He gave you cookies? Oh, he's just saying that. But is it her Or is it the fact that like that's what she expects because of what the Hunger Games has done? And does it kind of means that the Hunger Games are doing exactly what they were designed for? Like people refuse to work together and to team up because they're like, oh, well, the end result is one of us kills the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I think largely that is what it is.
So,
Is that this population of people, the population of Panem, have been essentially Stockholmed into thinking that these games are necessary. They don't agree with the games, but in a way they've been like Stockholmed into thinking, well, if it doesn't happen, then something worse is going to come along.
right.
It's better that this happens once a year than say fire bombings every 6 months or
Yeah.
whatever. Whatever, because the
At least we
capital
only
has the
lose two.
resources. Yeah,
We only lose 2 per year from this, so we're fine.
except for in one occasion
Yeah.
where it was
but,
double the amount, but that was a quarter quell, so
yeah.
special rules.
I saw this theory that I really like the idea of, which is that every year, PETA's dad always, during the reaping, always carries around 2 boxes of cookies, and he gives it to the families of those that, have had children that go, who have gotten reaped. But because it was, his son and someone else who got reaped, so he would actually be able to go into the Justice Building to say goodbye, he goes in and gives the cookies to Katniss.
I like that.
Yeah, so did I.
That actually makes a lot of sense because he's got them.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not. It's not like there's a 5-hour period where he could go make cookies.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
really love that theory, and it's heartwarming too. Let's face it.
Well,
Yeah.
and it ties into his character, that we know of
I
him
bet
at
his
this
wife
point.
doesn't know.
Oh, probably not.
She.
Because
Don't
she's a
get me. Don't get
bitch.
me started on
That
on
that bitch would go nuts.
like we here at Deep Dive Library cannot stand Peeta's mother, and we constantly question why, in the end, Peeta's dad chose her.
It could,
Probably
like,
money.
Well, because he was his family was the baker's side of things, so he was set regardless.
Yeah, but think about noble families. Like
There,
you have to
there could have been some,
marry.
yeah.
yeah.
Like maybe her family was in charge of grain or something, which would be very advantageous for a baker.
That's true.
Um, but also, we don't know if, like, once you get married, if you can get divorced. So there's a very real possibility that she was not like that before they got married, and then they got married and she ended up like that.
One of those, so I married a serial killer, and wait a minute, I didn't know he was a serial killer kind of things.
Yeah, exactly. Though I
Or
don't think she has killed anyone. Just
No, just that was the first thing that came to mind.
yeah, no, I know.
or it could have been something as simple as if it was purely up to the dad, the bakery would have gone out of business.
Mhm.
Maybe he's a great guy, which I love, but sometimes great people can't run a business and it just will not last.
I mean,
To be,
mayhaps.
to be fair, she may be a necessary evil.
Mm,
It could be. We still don't like her.
yeah.
Oh, I still hate her, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Right. No,
yeah.
it does make sense. So Katniss lunges for the beacon, as it were. I like that. We're gonna call that backpack the beacon for the rest of this book.
It's a good name for it.
It is because it is neon orange.
Like my hair.
I'm picturing this
Yeah, good
backpack
choice.
being brighter than your hair.
Well, my hair was brighter, but then I had to wash it.
That's fair.
How dare you wash your hair?
And as soon as she gets to this backpack, A boy, she thinks from District 9, reaches for the pack at the same time, and there is a little
A scuffle.
scuffle, a little quarrel, if you will. Um, Sorry.
No.
And then all of a sudden,
He coughs.
splattering Katniss's face with blood.
Yes.
Which
warm, sticky spray. Blech.
is a great description and an accurate description.
Different words were used.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like, could you have gone with other words? But
this isn't that type of book.
Nowhere near.
Turns out Suzanne Collins has a pseudonym where she writes smut under a different name.
Yeah, of her own books.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Fan fiction.
I wonder if an author has ever written
just
their own
posting
fan
it on
fiction.
AO3.
Oh, God. So the boy falls over, blood in his mouth, knife in his bag.
I'm sorry. Blood in his mouth, knife in his back was just, I don't know why. It got me.
Laughing about death.
Yeah.
Sometimes in some
Welcome
cases,
to the show, everyone.
Some cases you kind of have to make light of it at times, because especially like with real true crime cases, right? There's these guys that I've been listening to for years, and they do nothing but true crime in their podcast, and they find these right moments to make jokes and to rag on one another or rag on themselves to add that bit of levity, and it's needed when you're going over some of the most gruesome cases in history. So like a little bit of levity is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But there is a girl from District 2, 10 yards away, rushing Katniss, one hand clutching a half dozen knives, and Katniss has seen her throw in training, and she doesn't miss.
So how small are these knives, or how big are her hands?
I'm honestly, Katniss says that she gets one of the knives that was thrown at her that lands in her backpack, right, is almost like a hunting knife. It's got a serrated edge. Let's see, where is it?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That's on the next. No, it's later on this page. She's like, it's a fine one with a long, sharp blade serrated near the handle, which will make it handy for swinging or for sawing through things.
Right, but
So I'm picturing that as a hunting knife, but in the movie they depict them as throwing knives.
Well, and some of the knives that she has. Some of the knives that she has, because she has all different kinds of knives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember about in the movie, but in the book, she's got all different kinds of knives. So, they're probably all different sizes, but I have teeny tiny baby hands.
Right.
And could not hold 6 of, anything except for maybe pencils in one hand.
That's a good question. I mean, the one she pulls out of the backpack, that's the one that gets thrown at her head.
Yeah.
It sounds larger.
Yeah, it sounds almost like a hunting
like a buck knife or something.
Or like a survival knife or something.
But that also shows just how good she is at throwing these knives, because, most throwing knives are smaller.
Mm-hmm.
They're more lightweight, easier to...
And the balance is easier, and...
Yeah.
Exactly, but she can just throw any knife.
Right.
Give this bitch a sword, and she's going for it.
Well, it's in The Arrow, for example, Oliver and Laurel get attacked in Laurel's apartment. Laurel's the Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
They get it. This is just after this is maybe a few weeks after he got back, and they get attacked in her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks up a butter knife off the table and throws it almost 30 feet and knocks another knife out of one of his opponent's hands with a butter knife. Those aren't even remotely weighted properly. So
okay, I can actually say something on that. They are very throwable, and they can go through a hollow door.
Really?
Yes, we used to do that in the dining hall I worked at summer camp. And we would get bored and throw butter knives through a door.
That's hilarious.
You know, it almost makes me want to try.
And you know what? I'm not surprised that you were the one throwing butter knives through the door.
And they have a good heft to them because the handle is heavy, so they really flip well and just stick.
I mean, and I do believe it was a butter knife that Katniss threw, or it was a table knife of some sort that Katniss threw on the train.
Some kind of a table knife.
Yeah.
Because it did have an edge because she stabbed it into the table. And doing that with a butter knife is a little bit more difficult, especially considering this is mahogany. Sorry guys.
I don't know if we've mentioned this before on the podcast. I think we have, but I don't remember when that line from Effie, "This is mahogany," just I didn't realize that she meant like the kind of wood that the table was made out of was mahogany. I thought it was some weird like capital like yeah, exactly. I thought she was just like, "Oh my gosh," but you know, instead of saying that, it was like, "Oh, that is mahogany," you know. And I just thought she was just so aghast, but nope, it was just the kind of wood, and it took me
I actually want
forever
to
to
think
realize
about it that way from now on.
It's question, is it mahogany from the planet Malchior 7? Anyone who's watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged will get that reference.
It has been forever since I've seen any Dragon Ball Abridged.
Yeah, I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z in a long time.
Yeah, I love Dragon Ball Abridged. It's one of my favorite.
I don't have days to wait to watch them power up, so
that part. That's why I preferred Dragon Ball Z Kai, the one that they did for the Kids CW on Saturday mornings, because it took out all the filler. It was nothing but the fights.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, Katniss is like, thanks for the knife, is making her way in and through the woods. She eventually goes from a full sprint to a, switch between a jog and a walk as she delves farther and farther and farther into the woods.
I see that you also have the line, "Thanks for the knife," highlighted.
Yes. It's a good little snarky remark from Katniss.
Yeah.
It's right up her alley too.
It really is.
Like you try and kill her, and she's just like, "Thanks for the knife."
Right. And it's like, who else I can see being, who would get along great with Katniss Everdeen in terms of snarkiness? Toph Beifong.
Oh yeah, they would have a snark off.
They'd have a snark off like crazy. If you don't know who Toph Beifong is, she is a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah,
the blonde Earthbender girl.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that working out well. Except for I actually liked her, like while reading the book. So many times I'm like, I really don't like you.
That's fair.
She has her moments where you really just want to smack the hell out of her. It's like,
come on.
Because she'll start off thinking something logically, and then it just immediately regresses.
Oh yeah.
She talks her way into everything sucking.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that's like nature over nurture, right? Like it's like, or nurture over nature, because like that's the world she lives in. Everything actually does suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, we're like, oh my God, could you be not negative for like 5 seconds?
Yeah. Right, because when she's later on in the book, when you see her not negative for 5 seconds, she accomplishes some incredible shit. Like she gets stuff done. She like, so she's.
And it's like, wow, you can do things.
Right. So Katniss is again thinking to herself she needs to find water.
Mm-hmm.
And since she botched Haymitch's first step on the list of just getting the hell out of there, she's like, I'm gonna focus on this one. The woods begin to evolve, and the pines are intermixed with a variety of trees, some that she recognizes, some completely foreign to her. At one point, she hears a noise and pulls her knife, ready for combat. Do you think she pulled it like straight up, like the blade, standard, or do you think Katniss is a reverse grip kind of girly?
I feel like would hold it straight out because that's more of a hunting stance.
Yeah.
Because she's a hunter, not a fighter.
Right.
The backhand hold, that's more of a fighting thing. So you can.
Yeah, and like she's not fighting deer like that.
Could you imagine Katniss just bare knuckle boxing a deer?
She's like, "Hey, bear, get over here."
Just don't put a marshmallow in your mouth, Katniss. Did you get that reference?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Do you get that reference?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, she did say before when they were still in the training center, she told PETA a story about how she got into a fight with a bear over the rights to a beehive. So,
Yeah, but the bear's more likely to come out on top of that against the bees, especially.
I mean, yeah,
Katniss isn't just gonna start eating bees. The bear will.
Right. However, Katniss does have something over the bear, which is, the ability to make. Yeah, that. I was gonna say the ability to make fire.
Oh, well, that's fair.
And use the
I
smoke
guess
to calm
fire.
the bees.
I like to think about thumbs.
They're great.
Something I love that they did to set this up properly is Suzanne actually made sure to write the fact that she freed the knife.
Yeah.
Like, you don't catch that continuity error that I think there are some authors out there who would have skipped that fact. And then you would really wonder how they pulled the knife out. You're like, did they like reach behind and pull it out of their backpack? Like, no, she took the time to say she freed the knife and then looked at it and saw what she was working with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's those little descriptive details in this story, just throughout the entire Hunger Games saga, that really sets it apart from other dystopian type books. Not to say that other dystopian style books are bad, because I love the Divergent series. I love The Giver. Great dystopian series books. But the level of detail that Suzanne goes to in these books really sets them apart, because not one detail is missed. There's almost nothing major that needs to be surmised through context clues.
But she also doesn't over describe everything.
Right.
Because she very well could, and then this book would be like 8,000 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
But she describes everything so perfectly and to the point where you know exactly like what you're looking at, what's going on, but you're not like, oh, come on, can you stop? We already get it, move on.
Right.
Or as you said before, like, okay, how did she get the knife? Like, did she like twist her arm back to get it or something? We get the exact amount of detail that we need for the scene.
And it's done in such a way, right, to where if you were to say, like, let's say you were listening to Carolyn McCormick read this, as we have done many times, and you've pointed out that you've also been like listening as well as reading as you've gone through this. You could close your eyes in any descriptive scene and just listen to it, and you could easily picture yourself there surveying the same landscape that Katniss is, as if you were standing next to her in the arena or in the forest outside of 12 or in the Capitol. Like, it's done just the description is just enough to put you there with the characters, but not to make it feel like the world is being forced on you.
Yeah.
It's so effortlessly just layered together.
I know.
In such a beautiful way.
You bring up such a great point about like setting the scene.
Mm-hmm.
like explaining what it was like at the cornucopia. Like you almost have a tactical map in your head
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that point. You're like, okay, she's here, cornucopia. There's the plains over there that are really well beaten down.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing directly across from me because there's a hill or a cliff. Behind and to my right is the forest. Like she really gives you that information.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lake to the left, I think it was.
I
Like,
think you've got it backwards. The lake is to the right,
yeah.
and the to the back and left is the forest.
Okay. But
But
you get my point.
yeah,
Like
I'm
you
double
get a
checking.
you get a really visualize. Okay. And I was actually thinking like, so what would you do? Where would be the best place to go
Lake is to the
as they were
right.
going up?
Left and back is the sparse woods.
yeah.
Yep.
See.
Yeah. So like that's all I could really think of when I was reading that portion. And that's a really cool thing to be able to evoke from just writing out a description is somebody can view a battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this it's perfect to explain it so heavily on this specific point because it comes up later in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then also, the ring of tributes around the cornucopia. We know that PETA is like 5 tributes to her right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we don't know what tributes it is, but we can, sit there and picture the distance.
Yeah, because it's like what every 20 feet is another tribute. I think it
Or
says.
something like that.
So we can get this visual of a grand circle filled with 24 kids.
Yeah.
Just kind of standing there and waiting for this gong to go off.
Yeah.
It's done so well consistently throughout this entire book or throughout this entire series. Every arena is different. So we get each arena has its own unique style and play style for the games, and each and every time you see an arena, you get such a heavy description of it without it being overbearing.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really, really impressive writing tactic for this series.
Yeah.
Because the arenas are so important to the series itself.
And each of them are so very different
Mm-hmm.
that, it's not like you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Right.
Yeah.
I love Suzanne Collins. She's such a good writer.
Let's see here. Where were we?
I don't know.
So she was spooked by something and realized that it was just a rabbit. And she's like, "Good to see you," which made me chuckle a little bit because it's like, "Good to see you, food source." It was like the thought process going through my head.
I mean, and that is also her thought process because she then it goes to say that if there's one rabbit, there could be hundreds just waiting to be snared. So she is also seeing these rabbits as a food source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's planning.
Oh, yeah.
Which is smart for her to do.
And I like that you can really understand the planning going through her head.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool thing that they added in. Like they could have easily been like, "There's a rabbit. Hello, friend," and then continue on your way without explaining. I know that there could be 100 more that I could catch with a snare. And I mean, just saying there's 100 more would probably work. But then you think about the genre of this being a young adult series. So sometimes you need that extra context.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I love about this series. It is, it is young adult. So it is age appropriate. However, unlike some other young adult books that I have read, it is not really geared towards children. Anyone of any age can read this book and enjoy it. It's just like this is the youngest that they recommend for people to read it,
Because it does deal with heavy topics.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of young adult novels have really gone that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it's great that they're far more thought provoking than they once were.
Mm-hmm. I
I agree.
completely agree with that.
Because like I love reading. And do I sometimes like pick up a book and find out that it's a bit smutty, and am I okay with that? Yeah. But it's also not the majority of what I read. Like honestly, the majority of what I read is young adult books like this, because it's like it's so very oh, that was crunchy. Um the I feel like even if there was like sex or something in a book like this, it definitely would not be the main thing. It's just a background thing.
Right.
The story going on. This thing just keeps falling out of my ear. Uh the main story going on is the main story. It is what is like in your face,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of like adult books are very much like a little bit of story, smut
Yeah,
being
I mean
the main thing.
you've got some of your authors who write like adult novels that aren't, smutty adult novels. You've got,
Right.
like um Dean Koontz is a great example of that, Like a lot of his books aren't necessarily made for children, but they're not are not, they might not be made for young adults, but they're not inappropriate to where a young adult could not read and enjoy the book.
Right.
I was a teenager the first time I read By the Light of the Moon,
Yeah.
which is a phenomenal novel. Um, so you do have some of your authors, but then again, you have yours who strictly write smut. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You just won't find me reading it. I'd rather write it than read it, honestly, because sometimes people just don't write it well.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not much of a writer, so I don't write it. um, let's see here.
It's like this, being a dystopian series is kind of like horror light,
Right.
because it's got that like real world terror aspect to it.
Because it's almost like, well, this could happen.
Oh yeah.
Like we could hit a civil war. The entire country collapse, and then they're like, well, to show that you guys have screwed up royally, we're gonna kill you off to, kill off your children in pairs of twos every year for the rest of history.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Everything about this makes sense. Colorado gets high and builds a giant city, and they're like, you know what a great idea would be, man? We're gonna start the Hunger Games.
I saw it in a book once or something.
Like this, something like this could happen, and that's why things like The Purge as well, or Divergent, seem it's like they're fictional based stories that could have some realistic presence in reality.
Yeah.
Because of how the politics are written out, especially like within the Hunger Games and Divergent, because of how the politics are written out, right? And how the world is built, there could be some standing for something like this happening.
Yeah.
And that is a little terrifying to think about.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love that they explained where all this stuff is. Like District 12 is the Appalachians.
Oh,
yeah.
Like you can look at your map and be like, okay, this is where this district would be roughly. This is where this one would be. Like I find that absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To, like be able to think of it in that term.
Yeah, and when you look at like some of the maps from, whether you look at some of like the fan maps or some of the maps that show up in one of the I want to say it was the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes movie. I think they have a map of all the districts and everything. Because it was just after that takes place just after the big war that starts the Hunger Games and everything. And you can see where all the districts are, and it's really cool to have that, to see how that lines up with like the fan maps or your own personal like headcanon map of Panem.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really interesting to see how tangible this world is.
Oh yeah.
You know, and again, it goes back to Suzanne Collins being an incredibly brilliant writer.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We keep talking about like these great topics, but we're getting pulled away from the story at the same time, and it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I swear we're gonna get through the chapter.
We will. It might be like 5 hours from now, but we'll get through it.
So Katniss is, you know, making her way through the forest. She's feeling a little bit better being back in the woods, feeling a little bit, you know, safe and alone, even though she knows it's really just a farce because that there are, you know, cameras watching her. Maybe not, you know, all the time, 24/7, because of the bloodbath going on at the cornucopia.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well, I mean, the cameras are watching her all the time, 24/7. She's just not being shown
right
all the time.
You know, so
She's not televised.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she's like, it's peaceful, but only sort of. You know, I'm not in the woods outside 12. I'm in the woods in an arena fighting for my life, but there's still that, you know, familiarity to it.
Yeah, she's got to be careful about picking her nose because everyone in the country will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also, I love her inner Obi-Wan. Her inner Obi-Wan of not being happy about the valley. She likes the high ground.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, this keeps dipping farther and farther, and I don't like that. I'd prefer to have higher ground so I can see my prey. And it's like, do you also hate sand? Because, like, you could be on both sides of that.
Well, she didn't want a desert.
No, she did not.
So, like, she's both of them.
Yep.
I love that little Star Wars reference there. That's good. So it's now at this point it's late afternoon. Katniss hears the cannons going off, and the cannons are super important to this story because it signifies the death of a tribute.
But like on the first day during the bloodbath, they don't, shoot them off every time someone dies because it's hard to tell, Just
it's a logistical nightmare finding out who's dead. Who's not.
For sure.
It's like, are you dead or are you just laying on the ground playing dead or almost dead? Like, what's going on here?
All I can envision is the tributes all run off, and then somebody comes and just pokes each body with a stick.
Yes.
Oh, I almost choked on my drink when you said that. It's like, oi. And for whatever reason, they have like a New York, like Jersey style tone. Oi, are you actually dead or something? Like, just I can totally picture that in my head for some
Hey, you
reason.
still alive over there?
Yeah, like exactly. If you're watching this from New York or Jersey, look, we're sorry, but that's just how it pictures in my head for some reason.
I could also envision the classic Monty Python. I'm not dead yet.
Tis but a flesh wound. Tis but a scratch.
It's like, dude, your guts are all over the battlefield. What the hell you mean a scratch?
Right. So Katniss allows herself a minute to breathe, and she takes in the sounds of the cannons going off. She counts them off 1, 2, 3, and so on until they reach 11. 11 dead, 13 left to play. 11 dead in the first, hour?
5 minutes.
Well, no. So they the games start at 10, and now it's late afternoon. So you could. It's 5:00. So it's been like
maybe
7 hours.
5, 6, 7 hours in there. Okay.
But
still, 11 dead in the first day is a crazy number.
Yeah, I mean, but
and
also
know that a majority of them died at the cornucopia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I find it interesting, though, that the same amount that were dead from the bloodbath is also what Katniss got as her score for the.
I didn't even think about that.
I've never put
Clearly,
that together.
he's hasn't
I've
either.
never put that together.
I was worried you were pulling a Mitch McConnell, man. You froze.
No, it's just like, she got, an 11, and now 11 people are dead, during the bloodbath, and it's like...
Knowing Suzanne Collins, that is not a coincidence.
Oh, probably not. I can't imagine that it would be.
And then all of a sudden, she starts thinking about Peeta, the one person she's, like, mad at and sworn to write off, but, constantly comes back to thinking about.
She is that girl who picked on a boy in school because she liked him.
Honestly.
She's like, I hate him so much. He's so nice and so pretty and so awesome. I hate him. I just hate him.
Right. It's honestly ridiculous how much she says she hates Peeta. But then later in this very book, she just sits up in the middle of the night and screams out his name when she realizes that two tributes from the same district can win. Foreshadow alert.
Spoiler.
I'm assuming that we assume that most people watching this have read the books.
Or at least seen the movie.
Yeah. So it's like, you want to sit here and you're talking all this crap about him, but then you're like, oh my gosh, if he's still alive, Peeta! And like...
Yeah.
And even she realizes that was a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But I love... Oh, go ahead.
And, like, the big thing about that, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't want to be the one to do the spoiler, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But it kind of shows that I think this was more of her telling herself that she hates him. To lessen the blow when either he dies or she has to kill him.
Yeah.
And excuse me. And that's very, very likely what it is, because she can, as we see, especially in the early chapters of the book, Katniss pretty much only sees Peeta as the boy with the bread, the boy who saved her life, the boy who was kind enough to take a beating from his abusive mother to give her food so she could survive. She constantly has that image of Peeta in her head, and she's trying to distance herself from that image because of the games.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Katniss is the girl that he couldn't stop thinking about.
Yeah.
And he always got tabs on her. And
yeah. But, as
she... And then there's poor Gale.
And as she realized that, when, they were talking each other up to Haymitch, that she'd also been keeping tabs on him, whether she realized that she was doing it or not, you know?
Well, I don't think she realized. I think we did.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I also don't think that she realized, until that moment. But
yeah. I love the writing of it though, because like she mentioned so much. She's like, I barely even know him, and then she explains so much, like, and then it wasn't until that point where all of a sudden she's like, oh, I know a lot about him. But like, but outside of that, like, it was being written to where we could see, oh, she's been like really watching him. I probably thought that she was below his station or something because he was merchant class.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a very good possibility.
But like, also, I feel like for Katniss specifically, that would not be the case just because he's merchant class, considering her mom came from the merchant class and her dad's from the seam.
But think about how she feels about her mom, though.
But she didn't feel that way about her mom until after her dad died, Yeah. Before she, like, conceivably had a good relationship with her mom. So...
Yeah. But she might think that that's just the way merchant class is. I viewed it as she would have thought it would be a bad idea because, like, her mom wasn't able to handle things and there's a good chance of people dying. So you need to, like, Gale made sense for her because Gale could provide.
Yeah.
That is a good thought process. It is. This is pretty good. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh.
I mean, Peter can also provide. He makes bread.
And he does the cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can make cakes, which is very helpful later. Just wait, everybody. It's coming.
Yeah, he's gonna frost everyone to death. Oops.
That is such a good reference. I love that.
Speaking of smut,
Uh-oh.
frosting everyone to death.
Guys, if your kids are watching this, please escort them away. We'd never claim to be entirely family friendly here on Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Just because we do make inappropriate jokes at times.
Yeah.
That'll teach you for bringing me in.
Hey,
So
I
we-
wouldn't have had it any other way, dog. So yeah, suddenly Katniss is overwhelmed by the thought that Peeta may have already lost, bled white, collected in the process, in the process of being transported back to the capital to be cleaned up, redressed, and shipped in a simple wooden box back to District 12. No longer here, headed home. I try hard to remember if I saw him once the action started, but the last image I could conjure up is Peeta shaking his head at me as the gong rang out. So Katniss is sitting here like, dang, is he dead? Is he not dead? The last time I remember seeing him is we were still all on the platforms. There's a chance, and then she goes on to say, it may be better if he's gone already. He had no confidence that he could win, and I will not end up with the unpleasant task of killing him. Maybe it's better if he's out of this for good. Which, I can kind of understand what she's getting at. Like,
Yeah.
if you and I were
At least
went into
somebody
the
else
arena...
did.
Huh?
At least somebody else killed him.
Right, you know, I wouldn't want to be the one at the hands to have to kill one of you guys if we were, in the arena. We're all too old to go into the arena.
Thank
but
God for that.
I would do what I needed to do, okay?
hey, that's fair.
Couldn't help myself on that one.
No, that's fair.
But it's not just for like her sake that she's hoping that he's dead, but also because it's like, she says that he didn't have any confidence that he could win, so the sooner he's out of this, the better, because at least then he's not suffering through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something really interesting that they did in the movie for that is I don't know if you guys rewatched the scene, but at the cornucopia, it looks like Peter runs off, but you're not sure if it's him or not. You just see somebody run off, and then it gets like really chaotic. So I think that they took this portion and kind of found a way cinematically to show it. I thought that was really cool.
Interesting. Yeah, we haven't rewatched the movie because we want to wait till we're done with the book and then go back and watch the movie, do like a Patreon night or something, where we sit down and watch the movie and talk about the differences from the book to the movie and how things got changed, and just kind of do a deep dive into that as well, to point out the differences between the book to movie adaptations and stuff.
Yeah. So, people who are going to be okay with it being paused every 5 seconds, so differences can be pointed out and talked about.
Yeah. So that's what we want to do with that. So we've both kind of steered clear from the movies in that regard, so we can keep a fresh mind of the books. Now, I don't at all disagree with the fact that, you're like, I'm going to watch this scene and I'm going to, and everything, just to
man.
have things to pick from. And I think that's great because it has offered a lot already. It's just, that's not...
Yeah, I thought that was something super interesting.
That is, and I might honestly have to break that rule just to check that out and see if that is, see how that kind of plays out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious now.
It's worth it.
I think it just might be. Let's see. Okay, so Katniss slumps down next to her pack, exhausted. realizing she needs to go through it before nightfall. So she unhooks the straps. She can feel it's sturdily made, although rather an unfortunate color. This orange will practically glow in the dark. Again, just talking about how vibrant this beacon of a backpack is.
At least she'll never lose it.
Until
That's
she
a point. That's a good point.
She'll always be able to find it, you know? It's
know?
like, you know... there it is, the giant orange spot in the middle of the darkness.
Right.
Thrumming with life.
She's like, I make a mental note to camouflage this first thing tomorrow morning. She flips open the backpack and she's like, what I want at this moment more than anything is some agua fresca. She's like, I want some water. Some water.
Not the agua fresca.
Some agua fresca. Yes.
For those who don't speak another language, that would be fresh water.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Because I constantly say things in other languages that make sense to me. But I don't ever think that it might not make sense to everybody. And in the backpack, she finds... Yeah, I don't know why I went so forward with that. She finds one thin black sleeping bag that reflects body heat, much like her jacket does.
Yeah.
The hooded jacket that she has currently is also designed to do that. A pack of crackers, a pack of beef jerky.
Yeah.
Which here is just described as dried beef strips, but beef jerky is way better to say. And a bottle of iodine, which is used to purify water.
And like
clean wounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can use iodine for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I would save it for the winter.
Yeah. Which is exactly what she does. But she, finds a pair of sunglasses, a small coil of wire, a box of wooden matches, and a half-gallon plastic bottle that is bone dry.
She looked down and she's like,
bone dry. She's like, how hard would it have been for them to put water in this? And I'm like, you know what, Katniss, I have to give you that one.
But also, Katniss, you should have realized before that there was no liquid in that bag because the backpack would have been significantly heavier.
Especially at a half gallon.
And also, it would have been sloshing around. You would have heard it, So...
But at the same time, how hard would have been for them to put like 2 cups of water in that bag?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that like they shouldn't have put some water in the bottle.
Jerks. They're all jerks.
That's fair.
And honestly, this backpack was only like what she said 20 yards away from, where she started. Because she was like, I ran in 20 yards or whatever. So it was still
quite far
from the cornucopia. She probably could have found a backpack closer to the cornucopia that actually did have water in it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Too bad she didn't run towards the lake at all.
Yeah, but she would have had to.
It's too open by a lake.
She would have been too open, but I think she would have had to have crossed through a larger majority of the tributes.
Oh yeah.
For sure, having to try to get to that lake, I think.
Yeah.
Strategically, that would have been the worst thing she could have done.
Oh yeah.
Then the lake comes up later, so.
Yeah, and it comes back into some great importance. I was gonna say in a few chapters, but it's more than just a few at this point.
No, because
it's only a few.
Yeah, because
it really?
It comes up again, with Rue.
That's right, and then her and Rue link
That'll
up
be like
fairly shortly.
Probably 14, something like that. 13, 14 probably.
Yeah.
But she actually goes on to talk about how the lake, as she puts everything back in her backpack, she has an awful thought that the lake might be the only source of water in the entire arena, which would be the worst case scenario.
Oh yeah, it'd be terrible.
And she's like, I need to get, you know, water. Becomes aware of her state of dehydratedness, her cracked lips, the dryness of her throat. You know, realizing that she's been moving all day, little time to rest. She's been sweating the whole time. It's hot. She's like, I need water.
Yeah.
But what if that is the only? And she's like, what if the lake is the only source of water? And then she's like, wait a minute. There are aminals.
Yeah.
And they've got to be drinking from somewhere that isn't just the lake.
Oh yeah, because that's too far for them to travel.
Water. Rabbits need water too.
Yeah. We used to have one. She definitely needed water.
She drank a lot of water.
She was like, because of those bottles.
So she's like, she makes note of, she goes on to make note about the rabbit. It has to drink too, just need to find out from where.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, the pine needle's on the ground, which any of us who have spent time around southern pines, and this is what makes me think that the capital is somewhere, or not the capital, but the arena is somewhere along the southern area, is because of these pine trees.
I mean, mayhaps, but we also, it doesn't matter where the arena is placed. It doesn't mean that it's using stuff from around.
I mean, that's true, because there are, she climbs into a willow tree, which are not completely native to the south, so.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine that they would have it too far from the capital if that's like a vacation destination.
Well, I know that some of the arenas are frozen wastelandish and stuff like that. There's I want to say it's a fan map or it's a canon map. I can't remember which kind it is, but that shows the location of each of the arenas. You gonna look?
I'm searching right now.
Heck yeah. That shows the arena, the location of the arenas. And again, I don't know if it's a canon map or if it's a fanon map, but some show them I've seen some that were up in Canada, some that were down in what was left of Mexico. Sorry, Mexico.
Sorry, you're underwater.
Yeah, so it was Florida in one of those maps that I saw.
In one of those maps, Florida should have been covered in all of those maps.
Yeah, Florida's gone.
Yeah, it definitely should be.
Yet California somehow made it.
It's higher up.
Elevation
wise.
Yeah, but they're one good earthquake from being gone for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of distance from the capital, she says the ride lasts an hour and a half before the windows black out, suggesting we're nearing the arena.
Yeah, but that's for this one. I mean,
right.
We don't know how fast those hovercrafts can move either.
No, but in Mockingjay, she says it takes 45 minutes to get from District 12 to District 13.
Yeah, but they're also on the same side, because District 13 is up in, the main area. And they're coming from, say, the somewhere along the Appalachians.
Yeah, barely south enough to get into, South Carolina and all the way up to upstate New York, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's just... Which is funny because, District 12 is relatively small, so it's a condensed district when realistically... Thinking about it now, right? They're screwing themselves.
Who's screwing themselves?
Well,
the capital?
The capital is screwing District 12.
Okay.
Because the Appalachians are known for their coal resources.
Mm-hmm.
But because of where they're at, they're having to dig farther and farther and farther and farther down to get more and more coal.
Right.
If they had the entire length of the Appalachians, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it Appalachians as well, and I don't like that one.
No, that one's not.
if they had more, I won't say all of, but a wider range of that mountain range, they could it would be easier for them to produce coal.
I mean, yes, but also they would still have to dig fairly far down, because the reason why they do have to dig as far down as they have been is because that is where, coal has constantly been mined from.
Right.
So, it's just they have to keep going further and
I
further.
have an answer about the arenas.
Okay.
All right.
Apparently, they were located around the Capitol. And not always, but often preserved and made into tourist attractions.
Huh.
That is per the fandom wiki.
So it might be true.
Yeah, so it's got like a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can like go on the fandom wiki and find information that you know for a fact is correct. Sometimes it's like, that seems like it could be right, but I need more sources.
Yeah.
Oh, the 1st through 10th were all at the same location.
Yes.
They were in an arena. Spoiler alert if you have not read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but the first 10 games all took place within the Capitol. There was an arena that used to be used for sport that was
for circuses.
Yeah, for like circuses and performances and stuff, that was then turned into the Hunger Games arena.
Yeah. Because it got like, because after the war it was no longer used
right.
for the circuses, and then it was used for
So there's a little bit of lore for you on the Hunger Games arenas. Yeah, the first 10 did take place within the Capitol themselves. It was because of the events of that book, and I'm going to put it that way because there's no more spoilers. But it's because of the events of that book that they decided to build arenas for each game. But I won't go into more detail than that because that is an entire book of itself that we will get to.
And even though it's been out for a couple of years, now we have also decided that, like, we're gonna keep talk about Ballad and Sunrise to a minimum,
as to not spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, for those who haven't had the chance to read it yet.
Yep.
Especially with Sunrise, because it only came out in March.
Mm-hmm. So Katniss is realizing that she's hungry, and she's
me
like,
too, Katniss. Me too.
She's like, I don't want to break into my crackers and beef strips yet. So, what does she do? She takes that knife, and goes to work on a pine tree, cutting away the outer bark and scraping off a large handful of the softer inner bark. And if you did not know, pine bark, the softer pine bark, is actually got nutrition to it.
Yeah.
And so do pine needles. You can actually brew pine needles into a tea, or you can put them into like a mason jar with some water and some sugar and make like a homemade Sprite out of pine needles.
I watched a hillbilly do that on TikTok the other day.
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched the tree guy. I don't know if you guys saw the guy who was doing the map of the U.S. with the different trees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him. So yes, pine is good for you.
Pine syrup.
Yeah.
Good. Put some of that in your tea.
I love how Katniss is like, after a week of the finest food in the world, it's a little hard to choke down. But I've eaten plenty of it in my life, so I'll get used to it again. And it's like, we've all been there with one thing or another.
It's so true.
It's
on vacation, you eat extravagantly, then you get home, you're like, what is this shit?
Oh, well, I guess it's back to ramen noodles.
Right?
I spent all my money on vacation food. Now I'm broke. It's like, whew, that trip to Disney broke me.
Yeah, I'm going to Disney in a few days.
That's right. I completely forgot.
Oh yeah, I remember you said something about that.
I completely forgot about that.
Land or world?
World.
Nice.
I always go to World.
You know, like I said, he'll come right past us on his way down and back up.
Yeah.
Um,
I assume though you're flying.
No, we're driving, but with 2 kids in the car, we just want to get it over with.
That's fair. It's okay. We'll get you on the next time.
Yeah. I go about once a year, so there's a chance you'll see me at some point.
So night is starting to set. Katniss is realizing that, you know, her fellow, you know, there are tributes out there that could be combing the woods at this point, you know, especially like the careers, and decides to,
It's night time.
you know, decides to make her way into a tree to rest. She finds a willow, not terribly tall, but set in a clump of other willows, offering concealment in those long flowing tresses. So she makes her way up the tree. And she does something that is incredible, right? She gets everything set up and all that. And then as a precaution, she takes off her belt and wraps it around the tree branch and herself to lock her into place within the tree. And that is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because
really shows her intelligence in this kind of situation.
And we already know that she has fallen out of a tree before, because at the beginning of chapter 2, you know, she says that, you know, when she was hunting, you know, once, you know, she was in a tree and she fell asleep and she rolled out and landed on her back, you know.
Yeah, we've all fallen out of a tree and landed on our back.
And that's why that random story that you're like, why are you sharing this? That's why it's important.
Yeah. It's like
it's a very Susan Collins thing to do, where he, like, tells a random story and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? And then, like, a few chapters later, you're like, oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, so she's like, ooh, no, I've been here before. Nope, we're not falling out of this tree.
And just as night has come, the anthem plays overhead. And this happens every night throughout the course of the entire games.
Yep.
The anthem will play just after dark. It will then show the headshots from training of the tributes and what district they're from. And
for those in the arena, for those watching at home, they will actually get to see clips of all of the killings.
Yeah. But for those in the arena, they just see the headshot and what district they're from, and these are the tributes who have died. Excuse me.
Don't be one of those tributes that died.
I'm not trying to be. So the first to appear is a girl from District 3. And Katniss is basically, at this point, Katniss is just watching all of who's there, you know, trying to surmise who's still alive by seeing who has died. And Peeta is not amongst the list of the dead. So that relieves her a little bit, which is funny because just 30 minutes ago she was thinking to herself,
She hates him.
she's just thinking maybe it's better if he dies, but now she's relieved that he's alive. Like,
I mean, but
Katniss.
She was both like, oh no, I hope he's not dead, but also it might be better if he's dead. Oh good, he's still alive.
Right, like she's just very back and forth with this, and it's kind of hilarious to me.
And I love that moment. You know, she's like, I'm relieved Peeta's alive. I tell myself that if I get killed, his winnings will benefit my mother and Prim the most. This is what I tell myself to explain the conflicting emotions that arise when I think of Peeta. The gratitude that he gave me an edge by professing his love for me in the interview, the anger at his superiority on the roof, the dread that we may come face to face at any moment in this arena, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I love that she mentions the gratitude because of how mad she was when like, the gratitude that I have for him, it's like, oh, you didn't tell him that at first. You
pushed him
Shoved
into
him down
vase.
on a broken pot.
Yeah.
He cut his hands up right before the games. Good job there, Katniss.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where Katniss has a knee-jerk reaction and then just immediately starts reeling from it. And I was like, wait a minute, they're right. Oh my god, like Katniss does this constantly. She'll act first, regress later, and it happens constantly.
Like every time she like reacts quickly, it's just terrible.
Yeah. When she
Like-
takes the time to think out her strategy and think out a plan, that's when things go well for her. When she follows her instinct in the arena, it gets her into trouble every time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Because
And I love that that's a recurring theme.
Yeah.
Like it very much is. Look, she did it again. She did it again. She did it again. And then all of a sudden, interspaced in there, she plans it out and it works well. And then she does it again and again. And it really kind of builds that expectation.
Yeah. Especially going into the third book when they're, in the heat of the war,
I find it interesting because, in this book, anytime she, like, goes with her instincts, it's a bad idea. But in the second book, it's like she like realizes what her instincts are and she goes against them, and then that's the bad idea, is that she's not listening to her instincts.
Yeah, it does a total coin flip. It's really interesting to see Katniss's growth as a character in this series.
Yeah.
Because at first she's relying too much on her instincts, and then she's relying not enough on her instincts, and then finally by the third book she's like, okay, I need to rely on my instincts, but only when I know for sure.
Yeah,
and even then, it doesn't always pan out, but when does it ever always pan out?
Well, and also she's in the middle of a war, so
exactly,
shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's just it's funny to see how it kind of flip flops, and it's true to life, right? Like sometimes you're like, it'll flip flop, and then it'll flip flop the other way, and you're like, what's going on? And then finally it'll mellow out, and you just kind of have to roll with it, and that's kind of how Katniss's progression as a character builds into the third book.
Yeah.
And it comes back to Suzanne Collins just being a phenomenal writer.
Yep.
Like no questions asked, just a phenomenal writer.
Yeah. You think we can get her on the show?
I would love to. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with her.
Suzanne, if you're watching, reach out. We got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll bring you back.
I'm going to say we will. If that ever happens, you can bet your ass you'll come back. We'll have both of y'all on for that, because I know you've got questions and theories to run by her as well.
I would love to be on with her and for her to go, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'd be like, okay. It was just a thought.
And that's kind of like, it's weird to say that, but you do kind of almost hope for that in some ways. Like that secretion of what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but I did not like the way that you used the word
I was not ready for secretion.
Yeah, no, me
I
neither.
don't plan on doing that.
But like the solidity of an idea or the abolishment of an idea, right, from the author themselves.
Yeah, the confirmation that, like,
it would be awesome. It's like, yeah, all of our theories could be completely wrong to what she had in mind, but we heard it directly from her, so it's okay. Like, it'd be totally fine being completely wrong.
Well, not just that, but I have a feeling she would be the type to be like, oh, that's what you got out of it. And just leave it at that, and it would be like, is that a yes or no?
Right. I could almost see that with her, like, it not being said in, like, a derogatory or a demeaning way, just that's an interesting that you pulled that from here, with that tone of, that's not necessarily what I meant, but I like where your brain went with it. I could almost, yeah, for sure.
And she seems like the type who would be like, I want you to get what you want to get out of the book.
Yeah. But she's also, like, from what I've, like, seen and heard about, like, interviews that she has done, she's not very forthcoming with like yes or no's. She's very like vague about it, and I kind of love that, and also kind of hate it. I kind of hate it because it's like sometimes it's just like I want an answer, I need an answer, but also like the fact that she's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. You know, whatever you get from this is what you get from it, and also, you know, then it leaves it open for her to do more writing, you know,
because if she just tells us all the plot points and all the story outright, then there's nothing left to write. And this series is incredible, and I would love for her to keep writing, at least as long as she feels that she can write for it. You know,
I love, like, anytime an author, I think Brandon Sanderson said once, that's where it's your story. When somebody asked him something, like they asked him something very specific about what they got out of it, and he said, well, that's where it's your story. I thought that was so cool.
That's a good answer.
Because like every author must realize that at some point the story may be interpreted differently than what they were envisioning. And it's not necessarily that that interpretation is wrong. It's just different from what they had in mind when they wrote the story. So they could come up, you know, it's like when we were discussing the whole ugly pot thing, you know, it's like that, you know, we got a different interpretation out of that than Katniss just doesn't like the pot, you know, that's why she called it ugly. You know, but, you know, we thought it could...
That was in the last episode,
I think so,
when she was pissed off and
pushed PETA, Oh, did you get a chance to watch it?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, it literally just go up
came out yesterday, right?
But we went on, like, a little tangent of, like, why the pot was specifically described as being ugly. You know, because she's like, it's an ugly urn. And I said, what did I say? I think it was like, if she described the urn as ugly because, you know, that's like what she thinks of the Capitol or something. You know, and we threw back and forth like different theories, and then at the end I was like, or, you know, it's just not to her taste. She's like, the rest of this room, great. This one, though, this urn right here, ugly. No, it doesn't fit the rest of the room. No feng shui.
The way that the writing has been from Suzanne Collins, I feel like it would be more, this is ugly, kind of like when a teenager gets pissed off and they're like, that's hideous and I hate it, even if it's like their favorite thing ever. That's what I got.
And
like,
that's
like,
that's valid. I like that. You know, it could like it.
Are you good?
I guess so. You know, it very well could just be that teenage angst. It could be just that Katniss didn't like it. It could be a metaphor for Katniss's feelings towards the Capitol. It could be literally that it was just an ugly pot. Like, you know.
Yeah, maybe it was just hideous.
You know, like it's again, that's like what you were saying about that author, is like that's where it becomes your story. You know, when you look at the story and you look at it, and it's hard not to see things like that when you're digging through the chapters the way that we are. You know,
I read it very differently this time than I've ever read it before. To where I'm looking for stuff to talk about.
And it's mind-blowing how much there is to notice when you dig through these pages. There's so many little details and little bits of minutia to things that just listening to it or reading it casually, you'll never pick up.
It's like I said earlier that I forgot to read the chapter for this week, so I was doing it like an hour beforehand, and I was like, an hour, like this chapter is not all that long. I can do it, you know, in an hour. But I also wasn't taking into account, you know, picking through the chapter. I was just like, it's not going to take me a whole hour to read the chapter. And then I finished like 3 minutes before we were meeting up.
So Katniss lays down for bed after buckling herself in and getting all cozy.
Just slip right in.
She's like, I'll figure out who the remaining tributes are in the morning. And she kind of just relaxed, let her body relax, and slowly fall asleep.
I do like, though, that she makes note that that Rue has made it through the bloodbath. It's very important to her that Rue has lived because of the comparison to Prim.
You know what I think Rue did, honestly? And here's my personal thought on this, okay? I think Rue, as soon as that gong went off, I think Rue hightailed it into the forest, climbs a tree, and waits for the bloodbath to be over. Once the careers have split into the woods to hunt down, I think she came down, and that's when she grabbed like her slingshot and what little supplies that she had, her socks and stuff like that. I think that's when she went and got that stuff, was after they had cleared out of there, just before like the cannons and stuff went off, because at that point they would not have had the time to set up the bomb trap with the landmines yet.
Right.
So I think that's when Rue went and got all her supplies, the little supplies she was able to get. But I think that's when she did it. Was just after the bloodbath, but before they came in and started scooping up. Or maybe it was just after they finished scooping up the dead tributes.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my thought process lies with that. Because Rue was smart enough to get out of there for the initial bloodbath, but also small and fast enough to get in and get out without being noticed to grab even the smallest of things.
Yeah.
She's kind of like Foxface in that light on her feet thing that she's got going on.
Yeah.
Also, like, the careers, do you think they're really watching for where she's going?
No.
They could care less. They're like, oh yeah, she'll be easy to handle later.
Yeah.
Like, they want to focus on, like, I know if I were a tribute, I mean, it's hard to say I would, but like probably would focus on who's going to be the biggest threat. I want to take them out early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some little 11-year-old,
12-year-old,
would
have
not
to be at least 12.
Would not be at the top of that list.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Rue is a lot smarter than people give her credit for.
Oh yeah.
That child is absolutely brilliant, and that's why she makes it so far.
And I mean, even in her interview, she's where
She
was it?
scores high, like a 7 or something, doesn't she?
Yeah, she got. Yeah, I believe it was she got a 7.
Which is impressive for a kid of that stature.
Yeah. She's not weightlifting or anything. So.
Yeah.
Just swole Rue, just. It's like Rue, the same height she is, but built like the boulder.
No. I found what she says, during her interview. She's like, I'm very hard to catch, and if they can't catch me, they can't kill me, so don't count me out.
Yeah.
And it's very true, like, she's fast, and she's tiny, and, like...
later we see her bouncing through the trees like she's Naruto and got chakra in her feet, just through the trees. It's like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that's an impressive task, It's not easy to go jumping through trees like that. I would know. I have fallen from many a tree. But I was also never the most athletic type of child either.
I mean, I have also fallen from trees, but not from trying to jump from one tree to another.
They were close. It was in the woods. Everything's close.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, of course. So let's see here.
The struggling to breathe later proved that it was not a good idea.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. because we've all had the wind knocked out of us, and it is one of the most horrifying things to experience as a human being.
Oh,
honestly,
God. Yeah,
because it feels like your body just doesn't know how to work anymore.
Definitely.
So Katniss is awoken to the sound of snapping branches, which you don't want to hear while you're in the arena because that means somebody's coming for you. At least that's exactly what Katniss thought.
Sorry, I just see the. It's lucky I don't snore.
Yeah, I love that too.
I'd be dead.
But
oh no.
she judges the sound to be several hundred yards to her right. Slowly, noiselessly, Katniss turns herself in the direction, and for a few minutes there's nothing but blackness and some scuffling. Then Katniss notices a small spark, and a fire begins to bloom. And Katniss gets very, very mad. She's like, I have to bite my lip not to scream every foul name I know at the fire starter. What are they thinking? Like, we've all been there. Like, somebody does something just so belligerently dumb. You're like, you stupid son of a... You dumb... Like, you just want to go off.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to stop yourself. And Katniss, luckily
Watching a horror movie and they make the wrong move, you're like, you're so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the dumb blonde girl tripping over nothing, like in every horror movie ever. It's like, how'd you trip over a leaf? But
it's like, I'm not the most coordinated person, but even I haven't tripped over a leaf.
Right. Katniss is like, lighting a fire at dusk would have been one thing.
But
now, in the middle of the night, when there's more likely to be people hunting, what are you doing? Katniss is like, you might as well be waving a flag and shouting, come get me!
Kind of like carrying an orange backpack. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, she's got it tucked in her sleeping bag.
Yeah.
So, it is hidden from view.
She knew that it would be a beacon to her in the middle of the night, so she was like, I'm just going to tuck you down there. So.
And she goes, here I am, a stone's throw from the biggest idiot in the game. And it's just like, damn. Katniss.
I know.
Like, she has these moments of just pure savagery, and I love it. And she goes on to say, stupid people are dangerous. It's just like, yeah, they are. That's valid to real life too.
And then the sky is doing what it does right before dawn.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm beginning to think we, meaning the person whose death I am now devising, and I might have actually gone unnoticed. And it's just like,
I've had those thoughts before.
Oh
yeah.
You're like, I want to kill this person, and then you're like, we being you, who I'm gonna kill exactly this way, and I never done it though.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, we've all been there.
Been
Don't act like you haven't. I'm judging you.
Then she hears it. Several pairs of feet breaking into a run. The fire starter must have dozed off. They're on her before she can escape. I know it's a girl now. I can tell by the pleading and the agonizing scream that follows. Then there's laughter and congratulation from several voices. Someone cries out, 12 down and 11 to go, which gets a round of appreciative hoots.
Which means that there was 11 died, and there was 13 left.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that there's been another death that we haven't accounted for.
Yeah.
Because it would have been 12 and 12 if this was the only one.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, one person has to live. So only 23 need to die.
Right, but
so the math would still check out.
So if
including
12
them as
are
the
dead,
last
there's
person.
11 left.
Yeah. So
only
that math
11
checks
will
out.
need to die till the end. But like, do you guys run into it in books where you're like, you reach that point where you're like, I hate you, to like somebody in the book? Like, you just straight up, all you can think is, I hate these people. I want them gone.
Dolores
Right?
Umbridge.
Yes, exactly. This is that point in this book for me.
For who?
When they get so excited and like hooting and hollering
Oh, the
and like
careers.
celebrating,
Yeah.
like that throws me off so bad. I'm like, I hate these people. I can't wait for them to get killed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
Because
really
you know what's gonna come eventually, but like until now, you didn't really catch that like, oh yeah, they're terrible. They're absolutely awful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, part of that is because the careers have had an unfair advantage throughout the course of the games of being essentially trained for this. They've trained their whole lives for this against the rules
Yeah.
of the games. But so they're faster, they're stronger, they're better with their weapons. They have
They don't have qualms about killing people.
right.
Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy to sit here and think about it. Um, Katniss realizes that they're fighting in a pact, which isn't uncommon for the games. People often decide to make up some deals and some pacts as the games begin.
She's mentioned that being very normal in the past.
Yeah.
That is
which-
always the tributes from 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
The career districts.
So it's not surprising that they're looking. Let's see, where does it say here? Strong band together and hunt down the weak. Then, when the tension becomes too great, begin to turn on one another. So, she's like, I don't have to wonder who made this alliance.
Yeah.
It'll be the remaining career tributes from Districts 1, 2, and 4. 2 boys and 3 girls.
The ones who lunched together.
Yep, during training, as it were.
And then it goes on and is like, for a moment, I hear them checking the girl for supplies. I can tell by their comments they've found nothing good. I wonder if the victim is Rue, but quickly dismiss the thought. She's much too bright to be building a fire like that, which is just another jab at this dead girl. Just
Right.
Like, can we pile it on this poor girl more?
Right.
just even more that this
like-
this girl is just absolutely stupid.
For all we know, she was like a farmer.
Yeah,
She's
I mean,
like one day planting crops, the next day they're like, go survive in the wilderness. They're gonna be hunting you, and she's like, I'm cold. I'm gonna start a fire.
Right.
what district was she from?
Does it say?
I don't think it mentions it.
I think it does during the recap. I think she points it out during the recap that night. The next
Yeah.
night.
Probably.
So when we
Yeah.
get there, we'll definitely have to point it out then.
Yeah.
I made it a point not to read ahead. No spoilers.
Oh yeah, we've only been reading like one chapter at a time for recording.
Yeah. So they're going through her supplies. They find nothing.
It's not Rue.
Better clear out so they can get the body before it starts smelling bad, is what one of the careers say.
She says that she's almost certain that it's the brutish boy from District 2.
Yep. There are murmurs of assent, and then to my horror, I hear the pack heading towards me. They do not know I'm here. How could they? And I'm well concealed in the clump of trees, at least while the sun stays down. Then my black sleeping bag will turn from camouflage into trouble. If they just keep moving, they will pass me and be gone in a minute. But the careers stop in the clearing about 10 yards from my tree. They have flashlights, torches. I can see an arm here, a foot there, through the breaks in the branches. I turn to stone, not even daring to breathe. They have not spotted. Have they spotted me yet? Or spotted me? No, not yet. I can tell from their words. Their minds are elsewhere.
That's gotta be terrifying.
Yeah, just to be sitting there mere inches from death.
Yeah, just like,
Seeing these people who want you dead.
oh yeah.
You know.
And like being too scared to even breathe, you know, and then your lungs are burning trying to get air, but you're not breathing.
Yeah.
So there's that, and probably getting a little bit lightheaded from a mix of lack of oxygen, but also terror.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like playing a VR horror game that uses the mic on the headset for the monster to track you. One of the most terrifying things you can do. One of the most terrifying things you can do.
Yeah, I've never done that, and I don't think I ever will.
I've played Phasmophobia in VR, and it's terrifying to play in VR.
See, I haven't played a whole lot in VR other than Beat Saber. And
That's fair.
Stick with that. It feels a lot nicer.
I'm not really like a horror person in general. Sorry. I didn't realize that it's been like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, we've had a good time with this.
Oh yeah,
we've had a real good time with this.
There's a lot to this chapter.
There really is.
And then just like,
excuse me,
you know, doing our thing of like just picking apart like every sentence.
No, right. So one of the tributes is like, shouldn't we have heard a canon by now? I'd say yes, but I'd say yes. Nothing to prevent them from going in immediately, unless she isn't dead. She's dead. I stuck her myself. Then where's the canon? Someone should go back and make sure the job's done. Yeah, we don't want to have to track her down twice. I said she's dead. An argument breaks out until one of the tributes silences the other. So that whole conversation was between a couple of the careers.
Yeah, well, it definitely the boy from 2.
Yeah,
and then
someone
we don't.
Else.
You know,
No.
yeah, at least one
like
other
that.
person.
I really like that she doesn't like try to pinpoint who it is or even gender, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's purely this is said, this is said, this is said, this is said. So it kind of builds that like anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, this is just being talked about. You don't even know who. And
Oh yeah.
I thought that was an awesome job.
And like, it's very much what Katniss is going through. She can try to like figure out who it is based on their voices, but guaranteed she hasn't heard them talk a whole lot, and memorizing what all of them sound like in such a short period of time. You know,
Chances are she doesn't really care who's saying it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
She's so hyper focused.
Yeah, on getting them to leave.
Yeah.
I'm not breathing.
Yeah. You know, so she's just like, come on, go. But yeah.
An argument breaks out.
Yeah. And then one voice cuts through the others, and they're like, we're wasting time. I'll go finish her, and let's move on. And then Katniss is like, excuse me.
I almost fall out of the
PETA.
tree. The voice belongs to PETA.
And I can imagine just how terrifying that would be.
Oh yeah. Like
I mean, just a few pages ago, she was hoping that
He
PETA,
was still alive.
exactly, that he hadn't died. But now he's with the careers?
Which, like, let's be honest, if this is your first time reading this, you do not see coming.
Oh, yeah.
Because even
you're
PETA
like, what the
himself,
hell?
you know, PETA through, like, context clues has also said, like, how he dislikes the career packs, you know, dislikes the career
Because they
tributes.
choose to do this. And
Yeah. So for him to just be wandering around the forest with him is a huge shock.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where we end off the first day in the arena.
Yeah.
Chapter 11 has come to a close, and
With, like,
such a great cliffhanger.
it's
right?
such a great
Like,
cliffhanger.
if it were, like, a TV show, this would be the end of an episode.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd
No,
have
a
to...
season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to end the season on something like this.
Or like
Oh, really?
mid-season finale or something, so you still have to wait months before you get the next episode.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh!
You know,
Come on!
I would love
PETA!
I would love to see an episodic version of this book.
It would probably
I don't
be
know.
better than the movie.
I don't know if you could do this episodic though. One of the things about this book is how much inner monologue you get,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like that gets really boring episodically.
That's true.
That's fair. That's fair. You make a good point.
Like,
And that was part of the
this
problem
is-
with the movies as well.
Is that so much of the book is Katniss's inner monologue, and then that all just gets cut out for the movie,
Yeah.
and so it's just like they're having to
They
create
fill with
shit that
other
wasn't
things.
actually there.
But this
but
is a
it's-
great chapter.
I love how this sets the whole tone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it really does.
Like you don't really understand until this chapter. Like you're like, oh yeah, it's a horrible thing and whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like 12 people died in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And you wonder like, oh, is this like a long-term thing that you had to that they go through, or is this super short? It's the Hunger Games don't last that long.
No. I mean, from
Like-
start to finish in this book, they're
It's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's pretty darn quick, and there's only 24 of them, and in the first day half of them are gone.
Yeah.
Like, and
Like I
that's
think
it's crazy to think about.
I wonder what the longest running games were.
it's a good question.
Like, how much time did it
That's
go
a
for?
really good question. Because like the earlier ones we know from context clues, they weren't as long as say some of the later ones, but that's because they were considerably more confined within the capital arena,
Yeah.
so they didn't last as long.
Yeah.
But since the advancement in technology and everything like that, it's like, yeah, no, how long did these games last?
Yeah. I just
I think
assume- Oh, go
one of the quellings probably just having more participants, you know?
Oh, like
Yeah.
Haymitch's Quell.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that lasting longer. I don't know if they ever say how long he's in the arena for.
I don't remember.
I mean, the entirety of this book right here takes place in just over a month.
Yeah.
Like, from start to finish, it's from full moon to just after full moon.
Yeah.
You know? And that's wild to think about. Like, it takes place in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, the second book, in the second book, they're in the arena for what?
3 days.
I was about to say 3 days before shit goes haywire.
Yeah.
You know, and then that takes place over the course of, think of maybe a month and a half. Like the
What
series,
takes place over a month?
the events of Catching Fire.
No, because Catching Fire goes from the start of the Victory Tour, which is like 2 months after,
That's
or
right.
3 months after the end of the Hunger Games.
That's right.
All the way to the next Hunger Games, which is in the middle of summer. You know.
That's right. So it takes place over the course of
like a year.
a year.
Almost.
But the entire series in and of itself is what, a year and a half? Maybe 2 years long total of the original 3.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean it all happens really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
That's for sure.
the only like trilogy series that I can think of that happens faster than that is Divergent. Like the entire Divergent series takes place in the course of like 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it's really quick. But the author, Veronica Roth, if I remember correctly, yes,
I do believe so.
Um,
It's been a little while. since I've
does-
listened to
as
Divergent.
well does a brilliant job with describing the world and getting you so immersed that you don't realize how quickly time is flying by.
Yeah.
I think you get so much out of a book when it's like a short time frame with a lot of pages towards that time frame, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I can show where like a little less than half the book.
Yep.
I can't
So-
show it very well because mine are
Just a
tabs.
little less than halfway through this book, which is crazy, by the way.
Oh, some of my tabs are
Um,
disappearing.
So much has already happened, and now the rest of it, like, you would think that the Hunger Games itself would be like the climax.
Yeah.
Like when you first start reading this book, you're like, okay, it's gonna end at like right at the climax.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, right? Because for this book, I'd say the climax is like the last night in the arena, like where they're climbing up on the cornucopia.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely the climax of the book, but it's at the end of the book. You know, you don't get
There's
that.
no wind down.
Yeah, you don't have that traditional, build up, climax, and then wind down. You don't have that traditional wind down.
Yeah.
It just kind of
Rising
drops.
action, climax, falling action.
Yeah, that
I
falling
remember
action
some
just
things
kind
from
of
school.
drops off and it gets picked up into the next book.
Yeah.
Where you don't really get a full conclusion because that it starts building right again from the beginning of the second book. Like it literally does this through the series until it finally concludes at the end of the book.
Yeah.
At the end of the third book, and it's so well done.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book. I would recommend it if anybody hasn't read and they're just watching. Like,
Please,
you
go
gotta
read
take
the book.
Yeah.
read the book,
It's
because when you
truly-
read, you're gonna get something different out of it than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very surprised on a lot of the plot points that, or like the talking points that we all had were relatively similar.
Yeah.
Like, and that
there were
happens
some
with us.
differences,
That
but-
happens with us is a lot because.
I mean, this isn't. This honestly isn't the first time that we've sat down and talked about this book.
No, but to bring Junia in and see that he's making some of the same like thought points and plot, noticing some of the same plot points that we have been noticing is awesome.
Yeah.
And this has been incredible. We're definitely gonna have to do this again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. I loved every moment of this.
Same.
I could talk about books for days.
Oh yeah, so and we often do. There would be times where, like, I'm on my way to work, and this one's off, and I'll just call and we'll talk about like Michael Vey or Divergent or The Hunger Games or Beautiful Creatures or The Fault in Our Stars or whatever book just happens to be at the forefront of our mind at the time. So like we're constantly talking books and we're constantly talking about especially like these books.
Oh yeah.
Which is why we wanted to start this podcast because we do it anyway. Why not get other people involved?
Yeah.
In a fun and all-inclusive community where it doesn't matter whether you're a fast reader, an analytical reader, whether you can only do audiobooks because you don't have the time to sit down and read a book, but this gives you that chance to kind of dig through it in a way you can't with an audiobook. It's hard to pause an audiobook and make notes, at times, especially if you're out and about listening to it.
Yeah.
So we just wanted this to be something we just took what we already do and put it on camera. That's
just
what
opened
this
it
is.
up.
And remember, everybody watching, that like add stuff into the comments. Let us know what you think about these points.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Argue with us. Feel
Yeah.
free.
I love a good
Yes.
argument.
Start a whole ass
don't have all the
conversation.
answers.
You might pick up something that one of the three of us may have never thought of. Let us know what that is. Like that's the whole point of this is to make for it to be engaging. For you guys to message us in the comments or send us an email. Our email is connected to the channel. You guys can email us with your questions and your thoughts about what we've read thus far, and it can be about anything. If you're gonna leave a comment about a previous chapter, leave it on the most recent video because we're most likely to see it that way.
Yeah.
Not saying that we don't go and try to check through the old videos. It just, as things progress and we get farther into this series, there's going to be a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
This first quote unquote season or first part of the season is going to be 26 episodes because we combined 2 chapters into one episode a few weeks ago.
So unless that happens again,
right,
it's going to be 26.
But by the time we get into, say, Mockingjay, by the time we get into the third installment, or by the time we get into the third installment, we're going to be over 150 episodes in.
Yeah.
Regardless, by the time we get into the final 2 books of the saga, we're going to be almost 200 plus episodes in.
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a thick book.
It's a big book. There's a lot there. But it builds on... What I love about Ballad is it builds on the world we already know through someone else's eyes. And it gives you a fresh perspective on it. And if you didn't know already, this is not necessarily a spoiler, but we follow one Coriolanus Snow in Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. So we follow President Snow through his younger years and get to see everything through his eyes, and it's incredible to have that perspective.
And terrifying.
And terrifying. It's genuinely terrifying because we see how in this series, in the traditional Hunger Games series, we see just how methodical and ruthless he is. But when you get into his story, you see it in an untamed way.
Yeah.
Because at this point,
he's immature way.
Yeah, in an immature way. That's a beautiful way to put that. Because he hasn't had to set himself those limitations. He hasn't had to stop and think. This is before he's a president, so he's not in the public eye like that. So he's able to do things that typically, like at this point in the story, he can't do some of the things that he did at his point in this world.
Well, and it's not even so much, I mean, yes, there is the, like, he can't do certain things that he did before, but also, he wouldn't do now, where we are here, than some of the stuff that he did during his story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are several things that he would not do here in what I guess we'll call modern era Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That he would do in his time when he was a young lad, and it's sad to see, like, it's sad to see just how evil of a character that he apparently has always been, and we won't go into detail on it because, again, spoilers, and we don't want to spoil that because it is an incredible journey.
Oh yeah.
Through his tale, but it's very unsettling to see that. It's terrifying to see just how ruthless he could be, even in Katniss's time, if he were to just let go.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, the crazy thing about him is, like, seeing how he's, like, adjusted for the public eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of the cool thing where, like, everything is so calculated now. There's no, like, I'm just going to do this anymore.
Right.
And
if you guys are wondering why we're looking down a lot in this episode, and I don't know why I didn't mention at the start of this, but I have my tertiary monitor set up on the desk that we set up to record so we can actually see Junia up close instead of just in the recording system. That way it's more
I
like
also
he's sitting
keep
with us.
Down to
Yeah.
read my Hunger Games book.
And it's been... There are still so much of this story that is left to unfold. There are so many nooks and crannies that still have left to be dug through. And the fact that you have your own copy of the book and you're digging through it with us, and those of you who are at home and doing this, it means the world to us. Because again, like, we do this anyway. This is how Riker and I think on a regular basis. Junior, you know this from conversations that we've had.
Oh yeah.
When we're sitting there at 12 o'clock in the morning driving through Iowa, on American Truck Simulator. Well, Iowa just dropped, so not yet, but
talking about Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, not even just that, but we've had like some deep and meaningful conversations while we've been trucking. Playing
and I was there
ATS.
for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because
at that time, my computer was set up in your room,
room.
so. But so like Junia knows how like analytical I can get in conversation. But this is just how we look at these books now. We've read them over and over again because we enjoy them so much. So we wanted to use those analytical thought processes to dig through this book and, discuss whether a pot is ugly because it's ugly or because it's it's a symbol for something else.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is. Like there's, sometimes the conversations seem dumb and that's okay. Like not every conversation is going to be impactful and meaningful, but they're all going to hopefully at least be fun to go back and watch.
Let's be fair, 90% of the conversations are not impactful or thoughtful.
I mean, yes, this is true.
Well, hopefully they're entertaining.
Yeah, we try to keep it, keep it fun, but also talk about the book in an open environment, because there's so much that happens in this book that if you look at it through closed eyes, so to speak, you miss the minutia of this story. You miss the little moments where, Katniss realizes that she has paid more attention to Peeta than she thought. The moments where she, is thinking about Gale, but then it turns into thinking about Peeta, or she's thinking about Peeta and turns into thinking about Gale. Those little things where you're like, she obviously cares about both of them, but which one does she really love? And then, as the story unfolds and these two characters, Peeta and Gale, grow and become more of their own characters, as the story unfolds and it grows and it becomes this beautiful thing that it is. We're learning with Katniss who the better person is.
At least like for her. I won't.
Yes. And that's a sign of a great story, is being able to notice those things, and that's why we pick through these books the way we're picking through them.
And there's stop that, dude.
One of my
Excuse me.
One of my favorite things about this book is there's a lot of books out there where you have to put two and two together because it hasn't really been put out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then there's books like this where everything is really put to you, but there's nuance.
Yeah.
And really you're looking at the nuance. Like,
excuse me.
There's some book series that have fan bases that go on tangents about like different theories and like conspiracies happening within the book, and it's because nothing's put out.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing either, because that is one strategy of leaving it open enough to where people get to create their own headcanon. And then there's a book like this where everything is like very in your face. You don't get much room for certain headcanon, but you get to think about reasoning.
Okay, I think we're gonna take a break for a moment. Hold on.
Sorry about that. I had some lemonade pulp go down the wrong pipe, and it did not want to remove itself from my esophageal pass.
Have you thought of switching to low pulp?
There's honestly not a whole lot of pulp in it.
Yeah, and we get this lemonade because we like the pulp. And again, we mix Kool-Aid in with it because it tastes good. And there's no extra sugar if you get it in just like the standard packets, because it's just the powder.
Yeah. And then it's also fairly tart.
Yeah.
Which we like.
Nice.
But yeah, it just, the story is written in such a way where you do still have to piece certain things together, but it's not put together like an escape room.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
do an escape room.
that would be awesome. And that's one of the great things about this story is it is not put together like an escape room, you know?
Hunger Games escape room? That'd be dope. Oh wait, that's just the arena.
I'm gonna say that.
So you have to kill somebody to get out.
Oh, no,
Like only one of us gets out.
That wouldn't.
Great
I don't think it'd
business
go over
plan.
well. That would be really bad. Really bad.
Yeah. You kill everyone in the room with you, and then you get taken out of the room in handcuffs.
Right. But Junia, so stream-wise, what you got going on in the next? I know you said you got a family trip coming up.
Yeah, so the 23rd I'll be coming back. And that should be on a Thursday. So yeah, next Thursday I'm coming back to streams because 1.0 releases for Farthest Frontier.
Nice. Oh, it's in beta?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So the new when 1.0 comes out, there's going to be bridge building. So you can build a bridge across bodies of water.
Nice.
And then number 2, there's going to be a tech tree that you can follow.
Nice.
With like 155 different techs.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been working on this for a while, and I can't wait for 1.0.
Hell yeah. And I know you said we plan on doing some trucking when you got back.
Yeah, I'm thinking early November probably.
Okay.
Seems like a good time for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll try and make it a regular thing like we have in the past.
Well, there was a time where that's all we did. And I would come home from work, we'd hop on The Sims, and we'd just drive for 3 hours.
Our desks were next to each other in my room, and I would just be sitting there like...
Yeah. He would just sit
so
there
you've seen all this stupidity.
Oh, yeah.
The crashes, the stupid, like when Dixper takes over your steering wheel and makes it go crazy, or when it starts raining inside the truck. You know, all that good stuff.
Some people say I'm not allowed to use the brakes and I had to let Jesus take the wheel.
I have seen him go through a turn at 80 miles an hour, a 90-degree turn at 80 miles an hour. And sometimes he makes it. Sometimes. Most of the time, he flips the rig.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But
Sometimes I land on the wheels.
Yeah, sometimes he does do like a full barrel roll, and the trailer stays attached the entire time, and he just lands back on the wheels with almost no damage taken. And it's like...
just keep going.
How? But I will make sure that your Twitch and your Twitter or X or whatever
we don't call it X in
is
this house. It's
linked
just Twitter.
in the description.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That way, any of our viewers that we have discovered, can then discover you. And guys, when I say go check him out, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. He has been probably I can't even say probably. He has been our number 1 supporter.
Our biggest fan.
Day one, since the concept of this. He's helped us. He helped us through with some ideas. He's helped us through with some of the sound engineering. Back in the early couple episodes where the audio was.
Oh, yeah, we all remember episode
great.
3. It was not
episode
great.
3 was not great. So he's helped us out with that. He's been. The other night, him and I were talking back and forth about today, and then I had closed my phone because I was messaging you on my phone, and then I had opened up Discord. I had opened up my phone to do something, and then so it opened immediately back up to Discord, and I see that you're live, and I'm like, oh cool, he's live. I opened up your stream. I hadn't even said anything yet, and you're sitting there talking about today. Like, I'm gonna be on Treble's podcast, and it's gonna be awesome. Like, just the non-stop love and support that you have given.
And then he runs across to the other side of the house to tell me about it.
Yeah, because we've been excited since we started talking about having you on, and I know you've been excited. And
Yeah.
I know
Well,
that,
I mean, we're such an important part of the lot lizards too.
you know,
So.
and it's just, you know, if I can send any of that love back your way through, you know, viewers that maybe you don't have that we do, you know, I'm gonna definitely try to do my best for that, because you've sent so many members of your community in our direction. Like, I just seen that Rustic has subscribed. There's a couple others who had subscribed a couple nights ago, like some of the regulars in chat, who have like started, you know, following along with the show and everything, and you know, and showing that support. So I want to send some of that back your way, guys. If you were not following him on Twitch, head over to twitch.tv/Junia. You see how Junia is spelled here? JUNIAAA 84X on Twitch. Drop this man a follow. He, again, only plays to go for city builders, because he actually pays attention to chat while he's building a city. Most city builders just AFK into their mind.
Yeah.
Because they're, and don't get me wrong, I've played city builders. I love city builders, but my ADHD does not allow me to play them for long periods of time. There's a lot to keep track of, especially if you're playing like SimCity, and you have to keep track of like energy production and water production, like water flow, and making sure all these houses have electricity and water and the roads, you know, and all that stuff. Like, it can be a lot to keep track of, but he does it every time without fail, and it's crazy. But yeah, again, we all, you know, again, we do trucking and all that kind of stuff.
It's a good time over there.
It's a really good time over there. There's never a dull moment. And if you guys end up that way, let him know we sent you.
Yeah.
That does nothing for us other than just show that we have people actually, you know, listening to our requests to support, you know, our friends and fellow content creators, because this guy is one of the good ones.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that.
I'm not lying neither. Like, when I met you, it was one of the first times you ever played American Truck Simulator, and you're actually the reason I got back into playing that game.
I apologize to your wheel and pedals.
Yeah, because sometimes Junior will be reading chat, and then there's a stoplight coming up, and he's like, "Hurrah!" and it just slams on the brake, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then you run into the back of him. He's like, "Man, come on! I gave you enough time when we're doing like 40 miles an hour through narrow streets, and there's a line of 6 of us."
It's like, bitch, what do you mean? What time?
Or then just like Uncommon coming along Uncommon just coming up the shoulder of the highway doing like 110 in a truck that should not be doing 110. Just
yes, I remember moments like that.
Just like, oh, hi, Uncommon, you caught up.
Yeah, because he'll crash and then have to go get his truck fixed, and then just puts his pedal, like, I don't know if he super glues his pedal to the floor or whatever during those times, but man just comes flying up.
He just sticks a brick on it.
Or something. Like, it's never a dull moment when we're out there trucking with each other. Never a dull moment. But never a dull moment in, like, the more chilled, laid-back streams. Because there's always good conversation to be had.
Yeah.
And then if you catch him on the weekends, you might catch him drinking a nice little rum and coke.
Rum and Coke does tend to go down easy.
Yes, it does.
I like
it helps
Coke.
me virtual drive better. Never real drive. Virtual drive.
You know, I have noticed that after you stopped drinking regularly, after, you know, you had some health issues and everything,
Mm-hmm.
your driving did get worse when you were sober in that game. And I don't know if it's because...
I know, right?
I don't know if it was because your ADHD was taking over and you're like, you know, just kind of going with it. You know, but like on the weekends when we would play, he would drive significantly better. Like during the week, if he wasn't drinking, he'd just be like, all right, I'm too busy to park this truck, so you park it for me. On the weekends, if he's had a drink or two, he's like, I got this. I'm just gonna back this bitch up in here like this. Perfect. Like, and it was literally night and day like that.
My farmer comes out when I've had a couple.
You know, I want to get a suicide knob, just an attachable suicide knob for my steering wheel for when I play the game. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't actually drink and drive, anyone.
No, that is not an actual recommendation. Yeah. Never do that.
With your video games, fine.
Remember, I said virtual.
Yeah.
Virtual.
I kind of want to stream one night and get drunk, but do sim drifting.
Oh, so you're just going to crash into the wall every 5 seconds.
Oh, you're going to get really dizzy doing drifting.
Oh, Lord.
Especially if I did it in VR.
Nah, what you should do is you should get really drunk and then play No Hezzy.
That's fair. Did somebody just knock on the door?
I couldn't imagine why anyone would knock on the door.
I do have to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your insights and your rabbit holes with us. It has been an absolute pleasure. We will definitely be doing this again.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to do it again.
Neither can I. All right, brother. We'll catch you later.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care. All right, y'all.
You want to cover here?
Thank you guys so much. That was my good friend Junia from JuniaaaGaming over on Twitch.tv. Again, his link will be in the description. Please give him a cheeky little follow and show him all the love and support in the world that you can. This guy is incredible. We love the conversation. We loved the jokes and just everything about today. So
such a great day.
So for the first time ever, after closing off with a guest librarian, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to renew your books on the way out of the library, and we will see you right back here next week on Deep Dive Library.
Bye-bye.